Good day, students. Welcome to part 5 of the ELM test placement test review. Remember that this document is accessible on www.csu.mathsuccess.org/exam_prep. So this document I have right here, you can access it on this site. And all the answers are there too. Okay? So let's go ahead and start from number 60. We're going to be focusing on the Algebra II section to get you ready for the ELM test. So starting from number 60, we asked to find the value of this expression if a is equal to -2. So what's the value of this expression? 5 minus a minus the absolute value of a minus 8. What is this if a is -2? So what you need to remember is that absolute value means distance from 0 on the number line is not the opposite, okay? So just remember that. So now I'm going to substitute -2 into this expression. So I have absolute value of 5 minus, instead of a, I'll put parenthesis -2. And then minus, instead of a here, I'll put parenthesis -2 minus 8. Okay? All right, when I work this out, I'm going to have minus times minus is plus. So it's going to be 5 plus 2 minus the absolute value of, you have -2 minus 8. If the signs are the same, you add and keep the sign, right? So it's minus 10, like that. All right? So 5 plus 2 is going to be absolute value of 7 minus, and then this one is going to be absolute value of -10. All right? So the question now is, what is the absolute value of -7? Or what does that mean? That means how far is 7 from 0 on the number line? 7 is 7 units from 0, so absolute value of 7 is 7 minus -10. The absolute value of -10 is how far is -10 from 0 on the number line. On the number line, -10 is 10 units away from 0, so it's going to be like that, all right? So 7 minus 10 is -3. So there goes your answer. The answer to number 60 is B. All right, let's move on to number 61. So for number 61, it says if x is greater than 0, find the value of the square root of 4x squared plus the square root of 9x squared. Okay? Now, anytime you're taking the square root, what you're doing is you're dividing the powers by 1/2. Okay? That's basically what the square root is. So when I take the square root of 4x squared, I'm rooting 4 and x squared. So what times itself gives me 4? 2, right? Times the square root of x squared. Square root of x squared is just x. Plus, same story here, the square root of 9 is 3 because 3 times itself is 9. And the square root of x squared is x because x times x is x squared. If I add these two together, I'll have 5x as my final answer. Answer to number 61 is B. Alright, let's move along to number 62. It says, what is the square root of 100x to the 36? Remember that anytime you're rooting, you're dividing the power by 1/2, okay? So this problem can be written as the square root of 100 times the square root of x to the 36. Alright, so this, you can write it as the square root of 100 times the square root of x to the 36. Now, what's the square root of 100? You know the number times itself that gives you 100? It's 10, right? Or you can write this as 10 squared. So the square root of 100 is just 10. And then what is the square root of x to the 136? All you do is, this is times x to the 36 raised to the 1/2. So all you're doing is you're dividing the power by 1/2, right? So it's going to be 10 times x to the 36 over 2. What is 36 divided by 2? 18. So you're going to have 10 times 10x to the 18. All right? So there goes your answer, which is C. So just remember, anytime you're taking the square root, you're dividing the power by 1/2. Okay, so another way you can write this, you can also write this as the square root of 10 squared, because this is a root, so square and roots match, times 10 to the 30, times x to the 36. Okay, and then you just take 1/2 of the power, 10 squared x to the 36, raised to the 1/2, because square root is 1/2, and then you distribute this 1/2 to the powers. And then you basically have 10 to the 2 over 2 times x to the 36 over 2, which becomes 10x to the 18, which is exactly what we have here. All right, so just remember, Root is exponent divided by 1/2. Alright, let's move on to number 63. You're given a function if f of x is 3x squared minus 4x plus 1. Find f of -2. So what this is asking you to do is, you see the difference? What's the difference between these two? You notice that this is x right here, and this has -2. So what is it asking you to do? It's simply asking you to substitute wherever you have x on the right side, substitute it with what? -2. So here you're going to have 3 times -2 squared minus 4 times -2 plus 1. Okay, just substitute the -2 for x. Alright, so when you work it out, you're going to have 3 times -2 times itself. -2 times -2 is 4. Remember, minus times minus is plus. Okay, and then minus 4 times -2, minus times minus again is going to give us positive 8 plus 1. So when you times 7 before you get 12, 12 plus 8 plus 1. And then your final answer for this one is going to be 21. And that corresponds to letter E. So number 63 is E. Okay? Alright, let's move on to number 64. Number 64, we asked to factor 4a squared minus 9b squared. Now, this is a square and this is a square. There's a special formula called difference of squares formula. Anytime you have a difference of squares, this is what you do. If you have a squared minus b squared, you root the first one and the last term, and then you add and subtract the difference. Alright, so this becomes a plus b, a minus b. Alright, so square root, plus or minus. Alright, so let's apply that here. So to do this, first of all, we have to make sure that this is a square and this is a square, perfect square, and they are. So I'm going to square root the first term and square root the last term, and I'm going to add and subtract the root. Okay? So the square root of 4a squared is 2a, so I'm going to have 2a plus 3b, and then the same thing, 2a minus 3b. Alright, that's a sum, and that's a difference. So anytime you have a difference of squares, it becomes something like this. So these are the two factors. So if you look at the alternatives, which of these match one of these factors? 4a plus 9b, no. This one, no. This one, 3a plus 2b, no. 2a plus 3b, exactly. So one of the factors is D. So D is your answer, which is 2a plus 3b. It matches because this is one of the factors I got. These two are called the factors, okay? Alright, let's move on to number 65. For this one, we're looking at 18x squared minus 32. Let me do this. Down. Alright, so 65, since factor completely, we have 18x squared minus 32. So let's break this down first and see if I can take out any common factors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down both of them, okay? I'm going to break down 18x squared, and then I'll break down 32. Alright, so let's start with 18. So to break down 18, I'll take out 2. 2 out of 18, 9. And then this is 3, and this is 3. And then if I want to break down 32, I'll take out 2. 2 out of 32 is 16. 2 out of 18, 16 is 8. 2 out of 8 is 4. And then 2, 2. This is known as a prime factor decomposition. I like to use only primes so there are no, all of the factors can be seen explicitly. Okay, so 18x squared will become 2 times 3 times 3 times x, as indicated here. And then 32 is going to be 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 2s, okay? So whatever factors are common on both sides can be factored out. So what's common on both sides? You notice just 1, 2, and 1, 2 here are common. So I'm going to pull that out, 2, and then I'm going to be left with 9x squared minus 16, like that. Alright? So now you notice we have a square here and a square here because 3 squared is 9, x squared is x squared, and 4 squared is 16. So now we're going to apply the same formula that we used for the previous problem, the difference of squares formula, to do this one, okay? So anytime you have difference of squares, this is the formula you use. A squared minus b squared equals a plus b, a minus b. You get this by rooting the first and the last and doing the plus or minus. Okay? So let's do that here. So here I'm going to root this and root that and add and subtract the square roots. So the answer is going to be 2 times 3x minus 4 times 3x plus 4. Okay? And the question says which of these is a factor? So which of these show up as one of these factors here? So 3x plus 4, your answer is D. Okay? So the answer to 65 is D. Alright, now let's move on to number 66. On number 66, we're asked to evaluate a rational expression. So we have number 66, 2 over 3x minus 1 over x. Any expression with a variable in the denominator can be described as a rational expression. So to do this, what we need to do is we need an LCD. Alright, because the rule of fractions is that the denominators must be the same in order for you to add them. So this has 3 and x, this has only x. In order for the denominators to be the same, this needs a 3. Okay, so to do that, I must multiply this denominator by 3. Okay, in order not to change the problem, whatever you do to the bottom, you better do it to the top, or else you change the problem, which changes the answer. Okay, so do 3 top and bottom. So you're going to have 2 over 3x minus 3 over 3x. When the denominators are the same, you just combine them into 1 and then deal with the top, 2 minus 3. Alright, 2 minus 3 is negative 1 divided by 3x. Final answer for 66 is D. Okay, so the answer is D. Alright, let's move on to 67. So 67, you have 1 plus 1 over a times a over a squared minus 1. Okay, so for this one, we're multiplying. How about we evaluate what the value of this expression is first, and then we'll see what we can do with this. Okay, so to do this part, this is a fraction, that's a fraction. So I want to write both of them as fractions. So we have 1 over 1 plus 1 over a. Okay, and then on the right side, we have a over, let me factor this out. Okay, to factor this, you see what we get. This is a difference of squares, so I can factor it out. So I have the square root of this and square root of that and plus or minus. Okay, so the factored form of that is going to be a plus 1, that's the sum of the roots, times a minus 1, that's the difference of the roots. Okay, I'm using the same formula that we talked about before. A squared minus b squared is a plus b times a minus b. Okay, so that's exactly what I did here. Now let's evaluate this one. To do this, this is just like 66. You need to find the LCD to make the denominators the same. Okay, so what's the LCD of 1 and a? It's a, right? So for this one, I need to times it by a, top and bottom. So it's going to become a over a plus 1 over a on the left, and then on the right, a over, just leave this one alone, okay? A plus 1, a minus 1. Alright, so to combine this, you're going to have a plus 1 over a on the left side, and on the right side, you're going to have a over a plus 1 times a minus 1. Okay? Alright, so now let's use it as a multiplication. So we're going to have a plus 1 times a on the top divided by a times a plus 1, a minus 1. Alright, so check this out. The a plus 1's cancel. This one goes here 1, this one goes here 1, a goes here 1, a goes here 1. The final answer is going to be 1 over a minus 1. Alright, so for number 67, your answer is B. Alright, let's move on to number 68. So for 68, we have to divide. So we're going to divide t squared minus t over 3. We're going to divide that by 1 over 3t, okay? Alright, so remember, anytime you're dividing, you're multiplying by the reciprocal. So this one is going to be t squared minus t divided by 3. We're going to multiply by the reciprocal of that, which is 3t over 1. Reciprocal just means you flip a fraction around, okay? So this, let's see, can we factor this out? This top here is t times t minus t over 3 times 3t over 1. So can I factor out t from here? There's a t and a t here that are common, so I can factor that out. T times t minus 1 over 3 times 3t over 1. Alright, any factors? Yes, you notice that there's a 3 here and a 3 here, so 3 goes here once, and 3 goes here once. And then when you multiply the top, you're going to have t times t minus 1 times t. How on earth do you do this? We're going to distribute one at a time. Okay, so let's do the left one first. So this one distributes to the inside. It becomes t squared minus t. And then we have a t here. This one, now we can do the one on the right. Distributes inside, down, down. And then you're going to have t to the, wrong part. We're going to have t to the third minus t squared. And there goes your answer. So your answer for number 68 is E. Okay? Alright, let's move on to 69. Get a big eraser. Oh, a small one. Alright, so we're going to move on to question 69. Let me just erase my work real quick. Okay, so for number 69, we are actually trying to solve a rational equation for x. So how do we do something like that? So 69, we have, it says find x if 4 over 2x minus 2 is equal to 1 over x plus 2. X plus 1. Okay, so to do this, we want to clear out the denominator. So here you can cross multiply. Every time you have a fraction here and a fraction here, you can cross multiply or multiply by the LCD. Okay, so cross multiplication here will suffice. We'll clear out the fraction. So to cross multiply, you're going to have 4 times x plus 1 equals 1 times 2x minus 2. Alright? That's by cross multiplying. When you cross multiply, the denominators just go on times by the top on the other side, like that. Okay, so this times that, and then this times that, you have that. Alright? So when you multiply, you have 4x plus 4 equals 2x minus 2. Now let's get x by itself. So you, I want to move the x's to the left, so I subtract 2x from both sides. And then you have 2x plus 4 equals negative 2. Then you subtract 4 from both sides, and then you have 2x equals negative 6. You divide both sides by 2, and then you have x equals negative 3. Alright, so your answer for number 69 is E. Okay? Answer is E. Alright, so let's move on to number 70. Number 70, we are asked to find one solution for that expression right there. So, so for number 70, it says one solution to 2x minus 9 times 5x plus 2. What is one solution? Anytime you multiply two expressions to get a 0, there's something called the zero product property, the ZPP, which tells you one of them has to be 0. Okay, so either 2x minus 9 equal to 0, or 5x plus 2 equals 0. Alright? So if I solve these two, one of the answers is going to match one of the alternatives here. So to solve this, I add 9, right? 2x equals 9 and divide by 2. So I'm going to have x equals 9 over 2. That's one solution. Oh, voila, we already have an answer, right? So let's do this one. So to do this one, you subtract 2. 5x equals negative 2. Divide both sides by 5. X equals negative 2 over 5. Alright? So which one matches? This one matches. So your answer for number 70 is E. Okay? Alright, thanks so much for paying attention to this presentation. Please subscribe to my videos for future updates, such as part 6 and 7 of this. And if you want to see my clips, you can go to mathgotserved.com and you can see all my videos. All right? Have a wonderful day.